All right, the good news. Last night, after watching the game and worried about the things I was worried about, I was really impressed that we did do defensively what I said we needed to start doing, and that's a better job of guarding the three and a better job of guarding in particular, which that helped us get our break going. Now we play kind of the exact opposite team, although this is a different Northwestern team. This team is running more. It's got a heck of a point guard named Reed. Caravino is their version of Cohen Carr. He's athletic as hell. He takes it to the rack, doesn't shoot it great, and they got a young freshman named Singleton who I think is going to be very, very good. He's the highest ranked player that's ever committed there. Martinelli, we all know, he's leading the league in scoring. He's one of the best players in the Big Ten. And he has the ability to do two things, score it and get fouled. And that's a good combination because if you're scoring it and getting fouled, you're also doing some damage to take other people off the court. Fred's wife, I don't know why she keeps an eye on him personally, but yeah, well, tell Tim, that's worse than your wife, Colin, tell him that. And then they got a kid named Page, a 6'11" kid who's been at USC, he's been at Cincinnati, very athletic, very skilled, very good player. They've got some good subs. I think he does as good a job of coaching his talent as anybody in the league. Chris is doing the same thing this year, except they're running more and they're pressuring more defensively. Those two things are two things that they're definitely doing a better job of. They've lost 3 games in the league, and just about all of them have been very close games, 3-point games and things like that. So my concern is they've been sitting there since Saturday, and we've had this quick turnaround again. So you never know, you never know what it did to USC. You don't know what it did on the road. I just like the fact that I'm seeing some progress in some people. Jeremy pushed it better. Cohen, as I talked to you last night, went through a tough night in a lot of ways, but he grew from it. I think getting Divine back helps us. He's another guy that can make shots. And, Jackson has been playing so well. And so what we got to do now is get our other 2 guards going. We got to keep Jordan where he's at, and I think we got to get Cam Ward up where he was. That's the goal of the next couple of days. So questions on him, I'll take them.
You mentioned about the quick turnaround. I'm wondering about it because I think you've had like 1 quick turnaround, but 2 in a row. What is the challenge with that?
Yeah, we might have had 1. I can't remember either, but it was a pretty good KP finally did some work. He'd been getting paid for a long time without working. Now he's getting some things done, and he did a nice job of trying to balance our schedule. And I think that was very, very important, and especially in the situation we were in. So, yeah, I'm always concerned about it, but I didn't see any fatigue or anything now. We got through, a little film session this morning, and we got through that. Tomorrow, hopefully, it'll be a good practice day, but it's hard to have a good practice day when you play the next day. And but we'll get a lot done tomorrow, both walkthroughs, film sessions, and practice.
I want to ask something similar about that. Like, is there a wear and tear factor of this many quick turnarounds in a row, or is that?
You know what happens when you coach if we have the quick turnaround and we don't win, then I'm going to say it was the quick turnaround. And if we have a long turnaround like them and we lose, I'm going to say we got stale and we practiced too much. So it's win or there's something wrong. That's from me, not you. But I think this time of the year, coming right out of Christmas, I don't think they're going to be fatigued like they would be in something like this in February, I think.
Tom, I know you mentioned it earlier or previously, but the three-point shooting, how much that struggled last year, and just the improvement this year, is there anything you can attribute that to? Is it just putting up shots or?
Got to be coaching, right? No, I think, we It's a good question. I think one of the reasons is Jackson and Cooper getting more attention. We went in early, and now they've, tried to double and do some things so you get cleaner looks. I think our passing's been better. I think we have done a better job of getting inside, outside. We've really talked about when we're penetrating, kicking out, an inside-out pass is better than a around the horn pass because you're already kind of squared up to the basket. I mean, those are the only things I can think of, those combination of things.
Tom, staying along those lines, you've had a number of guys like Jackson going all the way back to A.J. Granger and, Kenny Goins and
Payne,
and even Draymond to a degree. And what is, when you have that guy at that, Joey was the last one that stretches, what does that do for what you want to do offensively, to have that trailing four-man, to have all that stuff? When you have that guy you can count on as a major factor in your offense?
Well, it's then figuring out how to balance it. Like Jackson and I were talking today, in all honesty, about it's been really good. The only negative is then he gets used to being out there and he's not in at all, which means he's not getting two-point shots. He's not getting fouled. He has not gotten to the free throw line enough. So we're trying now to figure out a way to balance it. Keep him outside, get him inside, as you say, as a trailer. The trailer works only if you defend really well, run really, really well. So I've been putting a lot on Jeremy's plate because I did not think we were running as well in the month of December. I thought we did a better job the last game, and then the 2 games in January, I thought we're doing a better job. That helps Jeremy, but it also helps Jackson. So, anytime you can space the floor more. Now, what it takes away from, too, is, when you have those double posts in there, that's one of the reasons you're leading the league, or you're plus 14 in your rebounding, because they're right there. So I like it. I think it's better. I'm really pleased that Jackson is shooting as well. I think Jeremy, it's taken some pressure off him when he comes off ball screens. They can't double him. They are doubling Jackson a little more when he's in the post. And I think he's getting better at getting the ball out of there.
I might have asked you something similar earlier in the year, but the athleticism that Trey Fort has, I'm wondering how that opens up ways you can use him in sort of the hops he has.
I'd say right now it's the most frustrating thing I've done as a coach. I don't think I've brought him along well enough yet. In fact, I'm going to meet with him tonight because of the athleticism and the fact that he can flat out shoot it. It's the things in between that, he struggled with, and picking up on things that have been different for him in the programs he's been in, whether it be defensively or offensively. And that's not his fault. That's the fault of the system, if you ask me. And there can be pluses to it and minuses. But I got to do a better job, more than he's got to do a better job. He's got to adjust the best he can, but I got to do a better job of getting him involved. As they say, great coaches put players in positions to be successful. I don't think we've done that enough with him, and it's hard to get 3 or 4 of those guys going. But as we learned at Nebraska, you're a sickness or an injury away from it really changing. And I don't sit in bed at night and say, when's the injury coming? But I sit in bed and say, well, let's see, I've been in this 30 years. How many times have we got injury-free? And so I still think Trey is going to be valuable. I do think we need to use his athleticism. He's almost a better athlete this way than this way. So guarding sometimes or running that lane is a little bit more of a struggle. But, what I got to admit about the kid is he's been great to coach. Sometimes frustrating, but never respectfully frustrating. He just, maybe because he's not doing this or that. But as far as to coach him and his attitude and not playing a lot here and there and not complaining, he's been great. So I owe it to him to try to help him get more involved.
I want to kind of go back to a year ago when you had 3 guys with the ability to kind of run your offense at any given point, and how that transitioned back to having maybe a little more of what you were used to with, the 30, 35-minute point guard and then distributing and dispersing the minutes. Like, how much of a luxury was last year? And
well, you actually
how
asked
how special is Jeremy?
a good question last night, and I'll turn it in a different way. What is nice, and why we did what we did, it's nice to have two quasi point guard type people on the court at the same time. We think that Divine is a lot better at the two creating than he was at the one where he has to run a team. And yet he can do point guard stuff from the two. And that's where Denham gives us it's very solid with him, and we know he can guard. So there is Jeremy's going to play 30-some minutes a game probably, but it's probably not going to be 35 because he's not. If he's running our offense like I want it run, if he's guarding like I want him to guard, if he's pushing like I want him to push, that's a 30-minute-a-game guy. He knows it. I know it. We know it. So it is nice to have other guys coming in, but it's also nice to have Jeremy and Divine on the court at the same time because they're true. Trey is not that way. Kerr is not a ball handling point guard in any way, shape, or form. So it's been working for us, and I think we'll get better as Divine's got to keep getting better. It's been a slow process for him too, if you ask me, and yet I think he's ready to break out a little bit.
I wonder about the other side of that too, with how special Jeremy is. Those point guards you have to play that 30-plus have to do a lot of different things.
They do, and if you talk to him after this and ask him, I'm not happy with half the things he does because I think he can do more, and that's what I expect out of the position. He's got to run my team. He's got to push that ball morning, noon, and night, and he's good enough and strong enough to do it, and he's got to be a rock on defense. He's solid. I need him to be a pit bull, and all that takes energy, and that's why it's hard to play guys in this system as many minutes. If you look back from Mateen to Tom and that group, and even Cassius, played more 31, 32 minutes now. In Cassius's case, wasn't quite the defender, but he was a better offensive player, So I think it's going to be good for us as we keep moving forward if we keep getting everybody around him better and playing guys. Now I think they know what they're doing. It's become better, but it is a luxury to have. Your question of Jeremy Fears, who is the truest of true point guards.
Tom, I'm wondering, Carson's offensive improvement seems like, in some ways, almost sort of night and day from the first three. He's catching a lot of lobs, but other things like the touch and just sort of his confidence and feel when he has the ball around the bucket. I guess, have you noticed that? How important has that been? What has that allowed you guys to do?
Yeah, Carson Cooper is really important to us, and it's not just defensively. But as he would have told you, or he will tell you, early on he was still fumbling some of those or missing some of those easier ones. Now him and Jeremy have gotten a lob together where they're pretty much connected at the hip like a good quarterback and receiver. He does have a nice jump hook and almost a better left-handed one, kind of like Jaren Jackson. His left hand is almost better than his right, but we need to get him a few more shots. In fairness to him, we need to get Jackson a few more at times, and sometimes the defense dictates that. Sometimes how hard they play dictates that. And sometimes it's just the way it is dictates that. But we do know and want to get the ball into the both of them, and we're going to keep trying to do that. But Carson Cooper he is definitely, the last two games, a lot different than he was. I thought the month of December, he really struggled some, the later half of the December month, and I think he's coming back around.
Him being a guy that you want to intentionally get shots to, he was not that for a lot of his career, and now he's turned himself into.
Yeah, that would take your hat off to him. I mean, he has worked on his game a lot harder in the last year and a half, and I think you're seeing some of the results.
Speaking of pit bulls, I'm sure you know your now fellow Hall of Famer Doug Collins very well, and Chris is kind of cut from the same cloth. And they stuck with him through some really lean years there, 4 or 5 really bad years. I don't want to put words in your mouth. I assume you endorse that. You're kind of a fan of his, aren't you?
I'm a big fan of both of them, of Chris and Doug. I've always been. I recruited Chris some. I admired Doug as a player. I admired him as a coach. I loved watching the Bulls with him there. But you know, Doug had even more passion than Chris. But what I've enjoyed about Chris is he has been through some tough times, and you know, changing administration and presidents and things like that. And I mean, everybody knows it's a little different getting into Northwestern and doing the things you got to do at Northwestern. And does he have the same resources? And I think most people, if they were honest, would say no. And yet his teams are always competitive. He's had a couple of great teams. His team this year, Martinelli, is everything about Doug Collins and Chris Collins to me. He is tougher than nails. He plays harder than hell. But he's added some different things, you know. He's going to get up and down the floor a little bit more. His defense has been more pressuring. So we think it's going to be a challenge. But for the administration those years, you know, Jim, when he was the AD there, he was a phenomenal AD because he did take care of them. He believed in them. He believed in what he stood for and what he was trying to do, and it paid dividends as time went on. And so, you know, is that going to happen anymore? Look at the NFL. You know, we're firing coaches like we're changing underwear. That might not be the same for you, but for most of us. So it's really tough. But I think Chris has not only withstood the test of time, but he's earned the right to be called a very good coach in the Big Ten. And he's got good teams. They are good teams, and they're teams that are hard to beat, as we've fallen on a few times lately.
Anything else basketball related? Final one comment?
Who's the first guy that I recruited that I coached against? Wow. That's a, would it be Matt Painter?
He'd be older than Chris. Yeah. Would have probably someone who was playing in the.
You're Doc Rivers?
Did I recruit Doc Rivers? Doc Rivers almost my age. Fed go to hell. I was a bed. What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, I bet it was him. I bet it was, I'll never forget, we had him here on a visit, and that's when you could bring guys in privately, and Purdue came up with Bruce Weber there, and they picked Matt up. Of course, Matt was from Indiana, and they confiscated him, and that's where he went, and good choice for him, I'll tell you that.
All right.
You going or am I going?
You're going. We'll bring Paul.
Well, guys, as I bring Paul up, I told you last night that I was going to call Paul, and the cool news is at 6:30 this morning, Paul called me. And, you know, we've all gone through some tough times. Before I had a chance, and Paul called me, you know, he explained to me that he was embarrassed, apologized, did this, did that. And so we thought about what we could do, because it kind of went global on what happened. And I think he, as bluntly as I said it to when he played for me, I think he deserved what he got to a certain extent, but he didn't deserve, that's not who he is. And so after he talks, I'm going to talk to you about some things that I know, but he'll give you a short one. You can ask him a few questions, and I think he's manning up, and he's doing what the media wants, hopefully the fan wants. He's not hiding behind a computer, and that's why I asked him to come up here. He suggested he wanted to come up here. I said, great, I'm going to have a press conference. That would be the time. PD? Where's that mic? Oh, boy.
even during Christmas.
All right. Well, first, I do want to take the time to appreciate you guys for giving me this opportunity. Yesterday shouldn't have happened, but today needs to happen. And I'm not up here to make any excuses. I'm up here to take accountability, to own it. And, you know, there's a lot of people, obviously, that have known me. Some in here for 25 years. You know that's not me, but last night it was. I want to, you know, first apologize to the officiating crew. I talked with Jeff Anderson this morning. Short conversation, but amazing conversation. Amazing guy. Want to apologize to Coach, the team, you know, current guys. I told them that, listen, the focus was taken off of you, was taken off of USC. This is not what we need to be focusing on heading into this new year, but unfortunately my actions yesterday required it. But I do want to apologize to USC. I know they're on a road trip. I know it, you know, some tough games, and again, they deserve to have an amazing experience here in Breslin with the obviously the great fans that we have. Want to apologize to the fans, not only the ones that were there, but our amazing alumni base that has been unbelievably supportive to me ever since I left almost 20 years ago. And, you know, the Block S, that's not what it represents. It's not why I came here. That's not why I wear it proudly. It was a mistake. It was a mistake that'll never happen again. It was a mistake that is not me, but again, unfortunately last night it was. I also want to apologize to any of the parents that had brought their children there last night. You know, we're looked up as role models at a very young age, and that doesn't stop, you know, when you leave. And so last night, they did not see a role model, but I promise you, any other time they will ever see me, it will be a role model. It's, you know, and just apologizing to the university that's given me so much. There are a lot of memories were made in that arena. Unfortunately, this is going to be one. But again, I hope that, you know, how I've shown up the last 25 years and how I will continue to show up for this school, this program. You know, I hope there's just understanding that, you know, it happened. But again, I did not want to make a statement or send something out. Wanted to get up here and make sure that people, you know, heard what I was saying. And again, really appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do so.
Hey, Paul, I'm wondering, how hard was this right now to do this, and how easy was it to make the decision to do this when you got up this morning?
To be honest, this was the easy part. The hard part was every minute leading up to this. And, you know, what we do here, I guess, if anything, lessons, whether it's myself or young kids, is, you know, taking accountability. That's what we do here, whether good, bad, or in between. We have each other's backs, and, you know, it's the outpouring of support from not only my former teammates, but the guys up there. I mean, it's been as bad of a situation that happened last night is very special to me, and also right now is special to me. Even though I didn't want to be up here talking about this topic, it's, you know, it's opportunity for me to, like I said, just take accountability, because it's, I think, in this day and age, maybe sometimes it's can be far and few between, but, you know, not today.
Paul, you have not been an outsider in this program. You've been around, you've been at games. I think you've helped Tom in the summer a little bit with his big men. Does that make this worse for you? Because this is a program that obviously is still very close to your heart, right?
Yeah, no, like I said, it's the guys could have been better, but the alumni Izzo, I mean, for whatever reason, they were the ones there that were the Izzo probably when I was there, and the memories that I made with them and vice versa, and then to have this. So no, it didn't matter when this happened. But you're a basketball player when you're here, you're an ambassador when you leave. And so that probably made it even a little bit harder to know, not only the people that are in the vicinity that I can talk to, but, the 500,000 alumni around the country, around the world. And I just hope that the memories that we did make will help carry through this, and then how I show up for this school moving forward also does.
What made you call Tom before he could call you this morning?
It's the right thing to do. He shouldn't have to worry about taking time out of his day to deal with this. And so listen, he was the first one, probably because him and I don't sleep much, but I needed to at least talk with him and let him know, listen, whatever we need to do today, I want to do. And, just let me know. After I called Coach, was able to get Jeff Anderson's number. We talked. And so, no, there's been a lot of grace from people that probably I didn't deserve it from these last 24 hours.
Paul, I was wondering, you've been 20 years since you played here, and to stand up here and apologize, do you think this accountability will translate to the current roster when these guys see, what you apologize after practice and then you're standing up here doing this?
It's whether it's that kid that is pretending to be Mateen or pretending to be Jackson Kohler that wants to wear the Block S, but also, 100% for these guys, because there's going to be a lot of things just in life that happen, good, bad, and in between. And when you leave here, then life happens. We're kind of in a bubble here, and so yeah, again, as terrible of a situation as it was, trying to find what good can come out of this, and I hope the accountability for whether you're a 20-year-old MSU basketball player or a 9-year-old wanting to be, that this is this is what Spartan country, this is what we do, we support, but if there's an issue, we're going to take accountability, and it's going to be face-to-face. It's not going to be, just a statement. So I appreciate Matt and Coach allowing, and, you guys taking time out of your day when you should be interviewing the players to give me this opportunity here.
Oh, will you meet with the players or have you?
I saw them right after practice and kind of told them a lot of the same things that we talked about here.
Paul, to clarify, just because there's been a few conflicting reports, was this an insult to Jeffrey Anderson, or what was the context of it?
No, it had nothing to do with the game, with Jeffrey Anderson. Next time we're at a game together, I mean, we said we're going to have a big hug. It'll be the first time I ever hug a ref. But like I said, he couldn't have been more amazing on the phone. So nothing towards anything, anybody. It was a bad day.
And then I noticed at the end of practice you were kind of dapping up some of the players, and I wonder how close you are with some of the guys on this roster, especially some of the bigs that are in your shoes.
Carson and Jax, I think we text, weekly. As a former big guy, I know what a senior year means, and I know how hard those guys have worked. I was able to come into this program with Al Anaganye, Adam Ballinger, Adam Wolf, guys that had been on championship teams. That's where I learned from. And unfortunately, they came in, they didn't have those senior leaders. And so I wanted to make sure that, the last time they take this jersey off, there's not going to be any regrets. And that's really, anytime I come up and talk to the team, but especially those guys, that's the message, because there's going to be a day where you walk into Breslin and you can't do anything about anything, and your legacy is set. And so a lot of games, plays, seconds, free throws, would have loved to have over. But if if us going through that at that time will help, groups in the future make sure to shore those up and hang more banners, then, it was all worth it.
Anything else for Paul?
Thank you. Thanks. Yep. Thank you.
Let's get this thing back to regular air. I'm not going to make light of anything. I'm just going to say this. You impressed me. You impressed me. I appreciated the caller this morning. We all, if there's one thing that's in my office, there's a sign there, it says to self-evaluate. And none of us are great at it, you nor me. None of us have ever been perfect. I'm definitely not. I've done some embarrassing things myself in my career. And what I was assured by the referee and this and that, it was just one of those days. It was a bad day that I think he'll learn from. But when it happens in public, it's always more embarrassing. But I think that the way you measure a person is how they bounce back. I'll give you an example that he will remember, but 22 years ago or so, we're down in Ann Arbor, and I didn't think he went after a ball hard enough, and I made a fool of myself in front of 13,000 people at his expense. And I was young and dumb then. I didn't feel bad about it at all. As I look back on it years later, I said, God, what a jerk, you were. And then I looked at how he turned out and made it to the league and this and that. I said, God bless me and God bless him. So, there was nothing that was to the point of, I don't know how to say it right, but he made no excuses. He was accountable. For 20 years, he has done a lot for me in our program. He does come up in the summer. He comes up in the fall. He comes up to most games. He's always at alumni functions, and he's always willing to help, offering his advice and his experience. And it might be hard to talk to the media about something like this. To me, it's harder to talk to a player about something, you didn't do well, and this is what you should do better than I did. And he's done that many a times. And I get amazed, and I get prouder of him any time. So last night, we crossed it out. I know he'll turn into a learning lesson, but believe it or not, so will our players. And so will I. So in a weird way, it's been made me realize how lucky I am that 20, 30 years after I started, I still have players that care about the program, and I still care about those players. And it would have been easy for him to hide and hope it fades away. It would have been easy for me a lot of times to go a different route, but enough has been at place where the people care about him in the years he's played here, and now that he's been done, they all still care about him. We are a family. There's one thing, Draymond and he and Mateen, and it just goes on, and Steve Smith comes back. Everybody preaches the family atmosphere. We walk the talk. We walk the talk as good or better. Now, we walk the talk better than any institution I know of. And if this situation doesn't prove some of that we're all reaching out to help him. If it didn't show it last night with our alumni from back when he played, coming from all over the country, we do hold each other accountable, but we will always support one another. So for me, I hope it ends today. I hope that the parties that really mattered, the fans that he talked about, the kids that he talked about, the official that he talked about, he didn't know me nothing. I probably said worse things to him in my day. But I feel privileged that he cares enough that he wanted to do this. So the call, when you get a call early in the morning and you're a head basketball coach or football coach, you cringe. And I felt good after I got off the call with him. So thank you, PD. I hope you guys handle it whatever way you got to handle it. I understand. But take into account that a mistake was made, accountability was given, and mostly respect. Respect to the official, respect to the university, respect to the kids, respect to us, and respect to him and his own family. So we can make it as big as you want to make it, but I thought giving him a chance to speak to you is better than putting it out on the social media. Because as you know, I hate the social media, so why would I want somebody to do that when he can do it like this? So any other questions for me?
For you, I mean, we've talked so much over the last few months. Sorry. We talked so much over the last few months about the changing nature of college sports and kind of the stopgaps that a lot of these kids now are going through one place to another. But this seems like one of those moments of maybe it's going to be a bygone era, but it's, I imagine this is something that you want to be a legacy that maybe people will try to keep in mind when they're looking at the future of college athletics.
Boy, that was almost as well said as what Paul said. I agree. I hope it's true. I hope all of our alums, all 600,000 of them, I hope all of our former players, because, you know, when you're the coach, during the time players are there, you never know anything. And then the one advantage of those reunions, sometimes you unfortunately find out everything. And so each and every one of them, in a different way, has made a mistake. And there is nothing like a good family hanging around its family. So for him, I support him 400%. I like the way he did it, and I appreciate it. And I hope our players and other people learn someone's going to make a mistake. Someone almost made one last night. I dealt with. I mean, they're going to make mistakes, and that's why you go to college, and that's why you learn, and then you don't just quit making mistakes. I mean, I'm 20-some years older than Paul, and I still make mistakes. So I appreciated the questions you asked, the way you handled it. I really appreciate Jeff Anderson, because I too talked to him, and he was really, really good, really, really good. And that's kind of neat too, because I think everybody understands, you know, listen, officials make mistakes too. And when they make them, you got Bobby Knight barking at him, and you got Gene Cady. You know, I'm kind of a weasel compared to those guys. So, you know, everybody's been through something, and we're going to drop it when this is over, right, Matt? At least I am. No more comments from me. And I've given you free rein on me, and I gave you free rein on Paul. And Thursday night, you better be here. You better be here cheering your team on like you have been 90% of the time. And I hope that we accept you. I know I am accepting you. I hope our fans and everybody accept you for having the courage to do something that few people do this day and age. So thank you guys for being here. Tomorrow, or Thursday's, another big game for us. It's going to be an earlier game, so that's good news too. All right? Anything else? Good? See you. Thank you.